India will be kicking off their 2023 ICC Women's T20 World Cup campaign against their arch rivals Pakistan on Sunday 12th of February. But before that, let's preview how is Team India's T20 World Cup campaign going to be. Before the World Cup, India played tri-series against the host South Africa and West Indies in South Africa. In that series, India were the strongest on paper and quite convincingly won all the game up to the final. But in the final against South Africa, who didn't have stars like Marizan Kaap, Shabnim Ismail, Danevan Nikak, Minian Dupree or Lizelle Lee in their side, India only put up a total of 109 with having 6 wickets in their hands. And in the chase, India bowlers were blown away by the Tryon storm and lost that series, quite surprisingly, but India should have won. In the warm-up games against Australia, India bowlers dismantled the strong Aussie top order but got thrashed by their lower order bats Jonathan and Wareham. And India batting completely failed in the chase. But in the warm-up against Bangladesh, India batting did show up and also without any assistance of Smriti or Harman, as both of them weren't part of the game. Richa Ghosh scored a massive 91 of 56 and smashed 9 sixes in that innings. Jemima Rodriguez also got some much needed runs under her belt there at a great strike rate of 151. So, what are my takeaways from all these games lead up to the World Cup? India are still massively dependent on Harmanpreet Kaur and Smriti Mandhana. In the tri-series, Harman and Smriti were the top scorers for India. With their injury concerns, this can be a massive blow for the Indian team, both in terms of batting and in the strategic part as well, as both of them are the main part of the leadership group. If both of them don't play in the opening game, Deepti Sharma is supposed to be the stand-in captain. But is she ready to lead a team in a stage like World Cup? That will be a question. There might be questions around her captaincy, but as a player, no one can question her ability. And she also was the player of the tournament in the tri-series, being the top wicket taker with 9 scalps to her name. Also, in last 1 year, she is the most improved Indian batter in the lineup, I feel, striking around 130. With her ability to pick wickets in both the power play and death overs, she is nothing but an asset for the Indian team. Also, Indian bowling is overall doing well, both the pacers and the spinners, and has found their rhythm back. Also, have to say South African pitches have been very bowling friendly so far. And my last concern, I think, is most of the Indian batters are way out of their form. Only Captain Harman and Deepti Sharma have been the most consistent batters. On the other hand, both of our openers, Smriti and Shafali, are out of touch. India heavily rely on their big starts in T20Is, we all know. Now, with the injury scares of Harman and Smriti, players like Yastika and Hurlin will fill the gap, who are also not in good touch and not big hitters of the ball. In this scenario, to plug those gaps, India have to send Pooja and Richa up the order, and Jemima should have a fixed spot at number 3 because she is kind of a player who can hold the batting together. So let me predict my playing 11, not just for the Pakistan game, but for the whole tournament. If Smriti is injured, then Yastika in place of her, and Shafali at the other end, then Jemima at 3. If Harman is also not well, then Hurlin in place of her, and then at 5 Richa, at 6 Pooja, then Deepti, and at 8 leg spinner Devika. Then I think there will be a toss-up between pacers Shikha Pandey and left-arm pacer Anjali Sarvani, and I think pacer Renuka will be a fixed one. And last but not the least, there will be a toss-up between the two left-arm orthodox Rajeshwari Gaikwad and Radha Yadav. Also, they might go with 2 pacers, and then they can play both these left-arm off-spinners as well. So before I move on to the head-to-heads, here's a small request. If you are liking this video and like my content, do subscribe to my channel and share the videos to your friends and family. It's free for you, so do it, and it will be a great help to me. India are placed in Group B alongside Pakistan, England, Ireland and West Indies. So let's have a look at the head to head against each and my predictions of these matches. Against Pakistan, India have played 13 T20Is, of which they have won 10 and lost 3 matches. And out of those 3 matches, 2 have come in World Cups in 2012 and 2016. And the latest one is in the last Asia Cup, where India lost against Pakistan in Asia Cup for the very first time. So in World Cups, the head-to-head is between India and Pakistan is very close, 4-2. I think both the teams' bowling is pretty equal, but it's the batting. Team India's batting is what keeps them ahead of Pakistan in these kind of nerve-wracking games. India have the next game on Wednesday against West Indies. India played 2 games in the tri-series against them and India won them comfortably. In the overall head-to-head too, India are ahead by 12-8. In the World Cups though, it's 1-1. But this current West Indies team even struggling to put 100 runs on the board. So I think not just India, but even Pakistan and Ireland will beat this West Indies team. India's penultimate group stage game is against the strongest team of the group B, England. India have a pretty poor record against them. Overall, these two teams have faced each other 26 times, out of which only 7 games India have won and lost 19 games. And in the T20I World Cup, India still haven't managed to win a single game against England. It's 0-5. So I think the only game India will lose in the group stage is against England, unless India put up a show with the bat and ball. And the last group game India have is against the dark horse of this tournament, Ireland, on 20th Feb, Monday. The Irish team just beat the mighty Aussies in the warm-up, which must be a huge confidence booster for them. And this Irish team have the potential to topple teams like England, India in the group B. I do feel it will come down to India versus Ireland to decide who will go through the semis alongside England. Surprisingly, India and Ireland have played only one T20I against each other, which was also in the 2018 World Cup, and India won it. Ireland still haven't won a single T20I World Cup game. They have played 13 games and lost all. So with having the best team ever this time around, surely this team will clinch their first T20 World Cup victory. As Mithali Raj said India's reaching the knockouts is not enough now. So I also do hope that India reach the final and clinch the trophy this time, because this is their best team ever, the balance wise. How far India can go? What do you feel? Tell me in the comment box below and share your knockout predictions. Here's my knockout predictions. From Group A, Australia and New Zealand, and from Group B, England and India will qualify for the semi-finals. Watch all the matches on Star Sports and Hotstar in India.